When I entered the studio where I'm working in at the moment, first thing I did was to take a video of the window. It's a big window with a lot of light coming in and beautiful, a lot of greens. Down there you see all the time trucks and cars passing constantly. It is a very interesting contrast. My name is Begüm Erciyas. I was born in Turkey, but I have lived in many places, and since 2014 I'm living mainly in Brussels. I come from a background in dance and choreography, but my current work is very transdisciplinary. I work a lot with sound. I work very often with sound designers in collaboration, or with software developers or scenographers. For example, I did this piece, voicing pieces, where there are bubbles hanging in the theater space, which audience enters with their head or their upper body only. Inside they find the theatrical setting with the text, which they read out loud, and at the same time they hear their own voice through headphones. So their own voice is amplified and mostly modified also. In the last years I have very often created settings that leave the audience alone in some way. So voicing pieces is a good example where they are alone literally with their own voice. In another piece I did, audience would be lying on a big horizontal collective scenography, each lying together with a big pillow and having a conversation with an artificial voice coming from the pillow. So there they would be alone with their conversation, and each conversation would be a bit different depending on how they speak and what they say. But at the same time they would hear the mumbling of the other audience members in the space and the people going and the new people coming. And this tension between isolation and togetherness, I think, has been an important theme for me. In 2020, after the lockdown, I was asked to make a new piece about the current situation we are in. And especially at the moment, this relationship between isolation and togetherness is transforming very fast. And for this piece, what I did was to work with letters written in prison by Sam Melville. In these letters, Sam Melville describes very eloquently the feeling of isolation and also the increased desire for collective determination, a political determination to act together. So in my piece, audience is standing around a curved wall in 2 meter distance, and they are passing on fragments of the letters from one to the other in public space. So here again, the text is addressed from one to the other, like a letter would be, but in oral form. And in some way you are alone in your position between this person and that person, but at the same time you share a certain care and responsibility for the message with all the group, even if you don't see the group. At the moment I'm working on a piece that will take place in the forest. So a group of audiences will have a soundtrack on their phones, and they will meet in a meeting place somewhere in the forest at a certain time. They will start the soundtrack together. They will count 1, 2, 3, play. They will sometimes hear each different things, knowing that they are hearing different things, and sometimes they will hear the same things. And this will be the piece, basically a group of 20 or 30 people listening to sound together in one remote location. The function of art, or how I see its significance, is constantly transforming. At the moment, especially in the piece that I'm making for the forest, I'm very busy with the question that even if we don't share the same reality, what is the effort it takes to feel a sense of togetherness? And this is, for me, really important at the moment, because I feel like we are drifting off into very different realities and bubbles, and we are only surrounded by people who think similarly, or we only get information that confirms how we think. And what I find is important in this moment is really to make this effort, or see what kind of effort it takes, what kind of space it takes, what kind of frame it needs to still encounter each other. And I think generally this is also the function of art.